Whenever a client churns or cancels, it's because they feel like they are paying for more than what they are receiving in return. But there's a simple solution. The more value that you provide, the more likely that they are to feel they're getting more than what they're paying for. And if they think that you're over-delivering, then clients never want to leave. So this video reveals 4 ways that AI can provide massive value to your clients with almost zero time from you. Now these require zero coding experience, and I'll also run you through exactly how you can set them up for your business. And these aren't theory either. We've deployed all of these systems across our client base of our AI automation agency, Efficacy AI. And after having about 30 clients and delivering AI solutions for all of them, we've only had around 1 client churn, so it's safe to say that these work. We'll be going through all of these methods in a decent bit of detail, but also moving quite quickly, so just make sure you pay attention and take notes if you need to. So before we dive into these game-changing strategies, there's one crucial piece of infrastructure that you will need for pretty much all of the 4 systems that we're going to cover. It'll only take a couple of minutes to set up, but it will 10x the effectiveness of the rest of the strategies, especially the first one. So what you want to do is you want to set up a client or a user intake form. Now, this does 2 incredibly important things. First, it becomes the automated trigger that kickstarts some of these AI systems without you even lifting a finger. Secondly, it gives you and AI a complete baseline of your client's business goals, their pain points, etc. This makes every interaction with AI genuine and helpful because it just has more context. So here's the secret. You create a basic form that captures pretty much everything that you need to onboard and facilitate this client. We immediately take this data and feed it into a ChatGPT project to create a dedicated AI expert on that specific client. All you need to do is grab the information from the form. You could even get ChatGPT to expand on it and then get it ready for a Google Doc, paste it in there, and then just upload it into a ChatGPT project. And for actually creating the form itself, I would recommend fill-out forms, or even something simple like Google Forms as well works perfectly fine. This is especially critical for method number 1. Without this foundation, you're basically shooting blind. But with it, you'll be able to see why some of our clients have said this first method is worthy of a small monthly retainer. Trust me, this 5-minute setup will dramatically boost all of the other methods in this video and make your life a whole lot easier. So let's dive into the first method. Okay, method number 1 is huge, and it is all about having your client view you as a genuine expert. And it's the main reason that clients at our agency fully view us as AI experts. You essentially want your clients to see you as the oracle of your industry, the one who always knows what's happening before anyone else. A simple way to prove that: send them a weekly email with the most important updates in their field. If you're in marketing, you can share new platforms or ad formats. If you're in compliance, highlight new laws or regulations. Whatever the niche is, this makes you their go-to expert. I know what you're thinking. Yes, they can go and do this research themselves, but the point is that they don't have time. They just want it already appearing in their inbox automatically. But the beautiful part of this is it takes 10 minutes to set up, and then it runs completely automatically. Let me show you how. So first thing you want to do is head to make.com and create a free account. Then you want to start a new scenario and add a Perplexity module. You can just go to Perplexity, sign up, and grab your free API key. You just need to plug in your billing address, then copy the key. Come back to Make and set a weekly timer, and you want to drop this into the Perplexity prompt. You're essentially asking Perplexity to get the most important recent breakthroughs in whatever field you're operating in, telling it, focus on what's actually impactful, don't get, meaningless headlines. So Perplexity will then get really valuable information, and then we want to take that information and then send it to Claude. So the next step is adding in a Claude module. We want to basically feed in the Perplexity output and tell Claude to wrap this in professional looking HTML for a PDF with clean borders, depth, and padding. Needs to look sharp and corporate. Don't add any code tags, just the design. Then the last step, you want to add an email module, connect your Google account, and map Claude's text output into the body of the email. Write a clear subject line and drop your client's email into the recipient box. Hit test, make sure it's working okay, and that's it. So every week, your client now gets a polished and executive email covering the latest changes in their industry, fully automatically. People want to stay on top of things. Not a lot of people like signing up to weird newsletters that they've never heard before, or just handing out their email address. So this single system positions you as their competitive edge, making them feel like they can't cancel you because then they're going to fall behind. And method number 2 really takes this a step further. Very quickly before we move on, it should be noted that this can be used for either your industry or the client's industry. Obviously, depending on the field, all you need to change is a little prompt in Perplexity, so it's really easy. You can get the industry updates in whatever industry. So we're now on to method number 2, and this is what we call the golden hour strategy. And it's the difference between clients who ghost after a few months and the ones who stick around for years. So here's the brutal truth. The faster your client sees results, the less chance they'll churn. But obviously, I can't guarantee client results in your exact service because that's on you. But what we can do is stack their first experience with small wins, like little golden nuggets of value that instantly make your clients or users think, damn, these guys really know their stuff. And this is where the intake form that we discussed earlier becomes pure gold, because now we can deliver for instant personalized value based on exactly what they told us. So here's the three options that you have. The manual but personal method, where you essentially create a resource with ChatGPT, run it through Claude for clean HTML and drop it into a PDF, and then send it off to them after they sign up. And the semi-automated approach is where you build a few pre-made PDFs or free resources, strategy briefs, checklists, playbooks, and set up a very basic make.com trigger so that whenever a new client completes your intake form, they immediately get one in their inbox. And then the fully automated and dynamic way is by having AI generate the resource on the fly based off their form inputs. You just feed that into Claude, style it up with HTML as we did before, and send it straight to their email. So think of it this way, your clients have just made a big commitment to work with you, regardless of what your business model is. And within 30 seconds of signing up, they've already received loads of value. And even better if this is dynamic. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What sort of resources can we give to our clients, our newly signed up clients, right after they sign up? The kind of stuff that really creates that whoa moment. Well, here's a few of our client favorites that we use. So a custom strategy brief tailored to their industry, a quick wins playbook with 3 to 5 different things that they can do that maybe they haven't thought of already in the first week or month, a personalized FAQ cheat sheet based on their onboarding answers. You could have a growth roadmap that lays out the short, medium, and long-term steps, or if you really want to be fancy, a competitor snapshot report to show where they stand. And here's the key, they really don't have to be fancy. Now, the easiest setup out of all of these 3 options is definitely a simple email automation with PDFs attached that you've already made, or you could have a Notion page full of these resources and a trigger that sends the link whenever somebody signs up. We've taken this so far that we've actually built an entire learning center / resource hub where all of these resources live, and if you want access, the link is in the description, and of course it is completely for free. Whenever a client makes their first payment, they begin to second guess themselves. Some agency services are incredibly expensive, and if you have a leaky onboarding process and it takes quite a while for you to really get things moving whenever you sign a new client, that is a lot of time for the client to start worrying where they need reassurance. And squashing the time to value, like what we're doing here, is so helpful in doing that. Now, it doesn't have to be enormous wins down the line, but small little things add a lot of reassurance. Now, this creates what I like to call the premium illusion. They haven't even started your main service yet, but they already feel like they're getting premium executive value. Now, speaking of psychology, number 3 is where we really get sneaky with it. Now, number 3 involves the biggest silent killer of client relationships, and most agencies don't even realize that it's happening. Simple. One of the biggest reasons that clients are churning is access. Like I just said, they've got questions, they need reassurance, they're frustrated, they don't know how things work, and you're not always available. You've got other clients, you've got other commitments, so they sit there frustrated, wondering if they even made the right choice. That's where an AI version of yourself becomes your secret weapon. Now, you can think of this as like a weirdly packaged version of customer support. Okay, I want you to picture this. Your client's in a different time zone and they have a burning question at midnight. Well, instead of stewing over it until morning, they open a chat and they can get an expert answer instantly. It's in your tone, with your expertise. It's like you've never left. Now, here's exactly how you can build one of these. Well, it's simple. All you want to do is train a GPT. You want to upload every detailed doc about your service, your processes, your methodologies, and if you have a YouTube channel, consider transcribing some of your best videos too. Now, the most important part here is that it's detailed. This is absolutely vital, especially if your product or service is technical, because ultimately you need to ensure that it's trained on valuable specifics. It needs to be related to your product, your service, or your approach. Otherwise, it is truly useless. And if you don't do this, it's literally going to be a wrapped up version of ChatGPT. You need to give it access to the technical expertise that you have of your strategies or of your offer. For example, my AI agency's offer is a very technical and quite complex AI lead generation offer. We work with a lot of people in different time zones, and we've got other clients, so we're not always available. So having this like mini customer support system where it's a version of us to add that sort of personal feel to it really helps. So it's a customer support system packaged as you. If you're on holiday, if you're on vacation, if you've been in a car accident, you're in a hospital, for example, you can't always access your clients and give them the support they need. So quick summary, this is incredibly valuable, especially if you have a very technical offer. Now, if you're some consultant that basically just provides AI generated roadmaps and advice, then this is going to be pretty useless. Now, the main thing here is the clients feel supported. They don't sit in silence whenever a problem pops up, and as well, they stick around longer because they never feel abandoned. Now, method number 4 is a real long-term strategy. It's what makes clients stay loyal instead of shopping around. We all know that people love to feel valued, and they especially love surprises that make them feel like little kids on Christmas. So here's the move. You want to find an AI tool related to either your niche or your client's niche. You want to grab a subscription and use it to create surprise gifts that blow your clients' minds. So instead of only delivering what they're paying for, you're going one step further. Now, I can't sit here and list a tool for every single industry because we'd be here all day. But what I'll do is I'll give you some universal client pleasers to get started. You could grab a tool like Ithi to generate a full research report on things like emerging trends in their industry. It looks looks like a $5,000 consulting deck, but it'll take you minutes to create. You know, your client will open up their email expecting a regular update, but they instead find a premium market intelligence instead. Or you could spin up a relevance AI agent to analyze their top competitors. Just send it over as a competitor snapshot. It'll have strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. And this is the kind of insight that most clients will pay consultants thousands for, and you're just giving it to them as a gift. And the psychology here is bulletproof. Clients start to feel like they're constantly getting more than they pay for. Whenever somebody feels like they're getting a steal, they simply will not leave. And these little surprises really don't take much time or money, but the retention impact is massive. You know, you're not just a vendor anymore, but you're a real partner that always goes above and beyond, and that's the goal when you're working with clients. Also, it doesn't just have to be AI generated gifts. Go out of your way to actually make something valuable for them. I mean, AI can definitely help, and there's loads of tools out there specific to industries that are designed to generate this sort of stuff. Just think outside of the box. I mean, you probably know your industry a lot better than I do. And there's so many AI tools out there that make this ridiculously easy. And if you want to see a full iceberg of what's possible with the different AI tools you can use, I've got a video that breaks down everything that we didn't cover here, and I'll link it up in the top right corner. And if you don't find any in the tools list, just have a look around. I'm sure you will find a valuable AI tool out there that's cheap enough. Whenever you combine these four methods, the intelligence reports, the value bombs, the customer support, and as well the free gifts, you don't just retain clients, but you'll actually create raving fans. And it's only fans who will refer everybody that they know. So if you have any questions about what we covered in this video, just drop them in the comments and I will get back to you. But as always, thank you very much for watching.